Welcome back to my reviews. Today I'm going to look through some catalogs, Corgi catalogs, and take a look at some cars I got in the last year from a fellow at the Guide Hall flea market, not the regular Cedar flea market. But I'm kind of glad I showed up there a few times this last year. Him and his wife, they sold a lot of CDs and DVDs and that sort of thing. And he had a glass top box on the counter with, or on his table, with different toys inside. And the odd time he'd bring a Corgi toy in. This is the first one I got off him. And it was the Saint Volvo by Corgi. This one isn't perfect, but it's pretty decent shape. Volvo P1800 Corgi toys. Glass is all pretty good. Got the Roger Moore figure in there. The Saints emblem on the hood, which is a decal, not a sticker. Same Corgi features as normal. This was actually Corgi's first character merchandise item, and came out in '65. Actually the same year as the James Bond car, so it was probably overshadowed a little bit there. But there was apparently, according to the Great Book of Corgi, there was 300,000 of these sold the first year. Those are pretty good numbers. And it was the basic number 228 Volvo P1800, which they converted to this. Kind of a neat little car. Apparently the total sales were 1,159,000 before it was deleted from the line or the series. Got nice little jeweled headlights. Mask painted grille. Nice little car. I don't have the 65 catalog, but I've got a 1966. And there's the page 9 of the catalog. Excuse me. Saints Volvo P1800 with seats, steering wheel, glide-o-matic spring suspension, jeweled headlights, the Saint emblem on the bonnet, and the Saint at the wheel. Number 258. Very nice little car. Now also in 1965, at Christmas '65, was released the famous James Bond car. fellow had one of those, and I couldn't resist. This is still the 66 catalog, and on page 2 there's the car there. Artist license, obviously. Became silver in here. Only Corgi could do it. A fabulous working model of 007's famous Aston Martin DB5. The star of Goldfinger and Thunderball. The sealed secret instructions supplied with the car tell you how to operate the hidden machine guns, the special overriders, the double quick action of the bulletproof shield, and the remote controlled ejector seat. Read these secret instructions in strict privacy. They must not be allowed to fall into the hands of Smirsh. In addition to the special action features, the model comes with a fully detailed interior, James Bond at the wheel, 2 passenger figures, spoked wheels, and Glide-O-Matic spring suspension, plus a 007 secret agent flash to be worn only by the owners of this exclusive Corgi car. I remember when I got mine for Christmas that year, wearing that patch around until it finally fell off my shirt, and who knows what happened after that. Pretty action-packed picture, that. Corgi have done the impossible, a working model of James Bond Aston Martin. I was surprised to see this on his table that day, because you usually don't see these just sitting around loose for sale. And it was in pretty decent shape. I mean, it's got some marks on it for sure, but it's all there and it all works, and it works really well actually. Some of the features on this that don't work well after a few years are things like the overriders. You'll pop them out and one will get hung up behind the grill, and both of them won't come out, so you gotta fiddle around till they do. The ejector seat, sometimes the guy will fly out, other times he won't, but this one's been really good. And the bulletproof shield gets sloppy. So I'll just show you the features on this one and how well they work. Nice click to that. Good strong spring in there still. There too. And there too. There's James Bond in there. Some of these, as they age, you'll see guys pushing the ejector seat down first and then sticking the guy in and then closing the lid and all that crap, but really, if it's working properly, that's how it should go. And so this one's in good shape. There, just double checking that. I must have hit the button at some point because it popped out. As I said, this was released at Christmas '65 and number 261 in the Corgi series. It's actually released in October of '65, but and my dad included, many people had a hard time getting a hold of one for Christmas. He knew the store owner at our local toy store, Westwell's, quite well, and got on the list early, I guess. But he told me at one point it wasn't till a few days before Christmas that the thing actually came into the store and that they phoned him. So, a little bit of a story there. So it came out in October '65 and it was withdrawn in 1969. But in '67, the silver one and also a little larger James Bond car had come out and replaced this one. They sold 3,974,000 of these little cars. It's got to be one of their best money makers for Corgi. Very neat car. And actually, they go together because they're both character merchandise. Big time. So, Saints Volvo and James Bond Aston Martin. I have a '69 catalog here, and I think that James Bond, the other James Bond car is in here somewhere. I might even have a '67 catalog. I'll take a look. It more than likely is in there for sure. Well, '69 was a pretty big year. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Yellow Submarine, Monkeys, Green Hornet, another James Bond. Yeah. I thought there was a good picture in here of that Corgi car. Corgi James Bond. The second version. There it is. This one's a little bigger than the original, and it's got those spinners that pull out from the tires to cut the rubber on the bad guys' tires. It says with two great new features: retractable cutting blades on the rear wheels and revolving number plates. Other features include remote controlled ejector seat, bulletproof screen, extending overriders, and secretly controlled machine guns. Awesome. Look at me, so I had to go find this catalog. This is a 1967 Corgi catalog. New James Bond Aston Martin. There it is. I have this car that I got at the flea market a couple of years ago. I haven't restored it. It had a smashed windshield and everything, and the spring suspension was all gone. So I got all the parts, I just never got around to it. So someday I will. It's a pretty neat car though. Now this old catalog, this long skinny thing, was in with my dad's stuff, and I believe that is from the West Wells store where he bought the James Bond car, because it was tucked away in his stuff. My mom came across it and gave it to me, so that was kind of neat. But it's got Canadian prices. They're Canadian prices. Number 261, James Bond Aston Martin DB5, $2.79. Saints Volvo, $1.10. My God. How dare they charge so much money? I guess it's all relevant. I was just looking at some of these major toys, and they were quite expensive for the time. Ford Tilt Cab 8 Series with detachable trailer, $598. Carrymore Car Transporter, $650. Mobile gas tanker was $269. These are interesting. Rubber tires, boxes of 12 spares or accessories, 29 cents. And 15 cents for a package of self-adhesive accessories like license plates and things. And 2 spare bandits for an 007 identity label, 29 cents. And any of the Corgi figures were 69 cents. Here's the Carrymore Car Transporter with cars. It's with 6 cars. $13.75. That was that's a little over 6 hours pay for my dad at that time, who worked in the bush logging. Sheesh. Anyways, neat stuff for sure. Now another toy, actually this was the first toy I got off that guy at the flea market about 1.5 years ago. And it was the first Corgi I'd seen in that flea market in years. But he had this in his little glass case there on the table, so I bought it. That's the Ford 5000 Super Major. Very nice little tractor. Typical Corgi workmanship. We have the jeweled headlights, Ford sticker here, Ford 5000. It's the 5000 there, Ford Super Major over here. I think this side's better for the 5000, yeah. The other one's a little chipped. And Ford Super Major. The front wheels are steerable by the steering wheel. Now this one never came out as a single model until 1967. And it first came out in 1966 as part of gift set 47 with a conveyor belt on a trailer pulled behind it. There it is in the catalog. Gift set 47, Ford 5000 Super Major tractor and conveyor trailer. I know the wheels are in gray, but I've never seen them in white. That could be like a pre-production picture. Same conveyor on the forward control Jeep. So it was kind of neat. That gift set 47 was finally withdrawn in 1971, and there was 209,000 sold. And this was also found in gift set 1 with a beast carrier wagon with some calves in the back. Gift set with the beast carrier was also the first Corgi model to appear in the new window box style. And this tractor by itself was known as number 67. Ford 5000 Super Major. And it debuted in January of 67. Had some nice features though, and then it had the 3-point hitch. There's a little hook there that comes up. Hook your trailer up. Different implements like certain plows can hook onto this. And it also came with a driver. Famous driver with the scarf. Shows it in one of the catalogs, pulling the tandem disc harrow. That's one of my favorite Corgi implements, actually, that disc harrow. You could also pull the little Corgi trailer. Well, anything really. So that's number 67, Ford 5000 Super Major. I think one of the nicest little toy tractors ever made. Most of Corgis were actually. Were very nice models. It's a good one. Now the next model I'd like to show is number 801, Noddy's car. Complete with figures of Noddy and his two friends and fitted with pneumatic tires. Noddy Subsidiary Company Limited, 1969, in small print there. I was surprised to find this on that guy's table at the time I found this. I've seen them before the odd time, but they're usually pretty ratty condition. Broken pieces or whatever, broken windshields, headlights. This one was really decent. All the chrome's nice. Spring suspension. There's Noddy and big ears. And what they refer to as poor little or poor old Golly. This is the 1970 catalog this one's in, so. Copyright was 69 on this one. Corgi Comics, Noddy's car. Made in Great Britain. There was an interesting quote in the big book of Corgi, or the Great Book of Corgi, about that little character there. I should read it to you actually. Just interesting. Now the fellow that wrote this Great Book of Corgi, Marcel van Kleemput, he was the head designer and you name it for Corgi. And during his years working at Corgi, or basically running it, I guess, he collected one of pretty well every model they produced. But he writes in this great book about black characters, and actually Golly was the first one to have his image changed in a toy. A letter to our suppliers of painted figures in Hong Kong, dated 25th of March 1969, read as follows. Forward to us as soon as possible samples of the gollywog with the face and hands in a range of lighter colors, i.e. varying from the flesh color pink to a light tan. Our request is due to the rather disquieting racial problem prevalent to our times. A few early Gollies were black, but later shipments had Gollies with gray faces, and some were even of a light tan pink complexion. Later, Golly was removed completely to be substituted by Mr. Tubby. So, Mr. Tubby was a bear, and I guess Mr. Golly went by the wayside. guess he's fairly dark. Dark gray. But the picture in the book, he looks about the same, so that's probably how dark the original was. Anyways, I thought that was interesting, that little blurb on coloring him. You see, Naughty's still got the bell on top of his hat. That thing there is missing on a lot of these models. So, anyways, this model was withdrawn in 1973. And they sold 280,000 of it. Not too shabby, I guess. Very attractive though, this little model. Back of the catalog, this model sold for $3 Canadian and $2.25 South African. And this is a Canadian catalog. I guess South African too. Now this final item I've got to show you is a 1902 State Landau, and it was produced for the Queen's Silver Jubilee or 25th anniversary on the throne. It was hand painted by Corgi workers, but I believe the coach itself was produced at Lark Grove Engineering. It's in a scale of 1 to 40. Better hold it up closer here and take a look at the detail. Must have had some of their best painters on the job on this. You ever look at some of the stuff these companies produced in Hong Kong and had it painted there and sent back to England or Britain? Not the best quality. There's the Queen and Prince Philip. A couple of footmen in the rear seat there. All these are foil decals. The wheels are die cast. I think part of the coach is die cast. Seats in there are plastic. That's plastic. But look at the detail of those springs. And these lanterns, something else. In reality, there would be 6 horses pulling this coach. But the guy said in his book to cut costs, they only did the 2 or the 4 with the 2 riders. This was like a $10 thing at the second-hand store when I got it. I remember buying one years ago for one of my daughters, I think my oldest daughter. I bought her one, so it was in the box and everything, but over the years, I don't know what happened to that one. I thought I gave it back to her, I'm not sure. This was actually Corgi's major item for that year, 1977, because of the Queen's Silver Jubilee. And you probably know they produced buses and different things to coincide with it. I've got a double-decker bus somewhere of Corgi's Silver Jubilee colors. It's quite attractive. And you see walking behind there, a little Corgi dog. There was 137,000 of these produced. And there was a certain number that were produced for and they were all under a clear cover. I forget who they were produced for, but very few of them, 100 and something, are produced in that form. Might have been for people at the factory that produced the parts for this or whatever. I'm not sure. I know all the workers at Metoy got one of these. Metoy in Northampton. So it's hard to get all this in the camera, into the picture. But it's a very attractive little gift set, for sure. Well, that's it for my Corgi reviews today. I hope you enjoyed them and saw something you hadn't seen before. They've always made some nice models over the years, though, Corgi. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.